you know me, you pretty much know my story that I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York with my siblings, and I was the baby of 6, of my mother's 6 kids. So, which means I had a really good relationship with my mother, and when I seen her beat everybody else's ass, I would be on, so, hey, ma, you need some water? You must be parched from whipping everybody's ass. But don't get it twisted. My mother's a Latina, she's Panamanian, and she's from Brooklyn. So that level of crazy could be easily activated. My mother had a little job at one point, and the job, she would pass us one store that had a vase, however you want to call it, and the joint was beautiful. So she was on some, oh my God, I'm gonna get this vase. And you know, this is, like I said, this is in the 80s, we was po. So my mother had to save up a little bit of bread every single time that she got a paycheck, and she would save a bread, and then she'd go look at the thing in the window, and then she would save some more bread, so on and so forth, until the one day she brought it to the crib. When she brought it to the crib, she lined everybody up, was on some, yo, the first person that touched this vase, you're gonna have to deal with me. And remember about those levels of crazy. One day, my dumb ass decided I wanna break ghetto commandment number 5, thou shalt not run through the house. And I run through the house. Well, what happened? My big ass feet hit the vase. Bang! 1 million pieces. And like the Ghetto Temptations, my siblings all pulled out in unison on some, ooh. Y'all already know how that go if you're from the hood. I already knew I was dead. I figured like, yo, damn, you know, at least I got a chance to see 8 years old, you know? So, you know, hey, it is what it is. I can feel the soul leaving my body already. And my brothers and my sister already felt that way too. We were all in agreement. So what they did was, they told me to go take a shower. When I came out the shower, they had my church clothes. They had a Bible and a rosary on my neck. And they was like, yo, son, just lay down here and wait for mommy to come, because, I mean, you're going to be dead. So just lay down here and enjoy your last little hours of peace before you die. So everybody's around the bed crying, like, damn, I like this little dude. You know, he gave us a good 8 years. So my mother comes in. She opens the door. And she sees the broken vase in the middle of the living room. Oh, my God, son. To this day, I can remember it. Oh, yeah, King. Oh, man. Oh, remember that. All of us by name. And we all was just frozen. I'm in the bed with that, clutching the Bible, hoping God takes my soul and gives me a peaceful death. And everybody else is just, they probably singing freaking On the By and By or these little death songs. So she comes in the room, breaks the door in, boom. And then she took a moment. She watched us, all over me holding the Bible, knowing that I have already done enough damage to myself mentally. And what did she do? She bust out laughing. I think my mother realized that I already did all the damage to myself and they did the damage to me, that it was already nothing that she should do or could do or wanted to do. She just laughed, told me to go clean it up, and I was able to go see more years than just 8. But yo, I'd never forget that, man. I was almost a goner. In 1988, I was basically a regular kid, right? I woke up in the morning, I ate cereal, and then I turned on Nintendo on the weekend, and I played double dribble until my mother told me to go outside. And in those cases, I went outside and played basketball from whenever to nightfall. If I wasn't doing that, I was chilling with my best friend, Brian B. Now, one day, Brian calls me, and he's like, yo, bro, my mother had to go to Queens, and she left me with enough money to rent a movie, and she left me $5 to eat. Now, you may see why I'm getting excited in my voice, but $5 back in those days was crazy. Let me tell you what you could get. Back in those days, you could get 2 slices of pizza. You could get 2 Sunnydale drinks, which was like the upgrade to the quarter waters. And if you didn't get those 2 things, what you could get is Hostess Susie Q's and a bunch of other snacks. So we lit. Meet me in front of the building, bro. At this point, I'm walking out the apartment to go meet with my man, Brian B, go get pizza, a movie, and get lit. On the way out the apartment, my brother called me and was like, yo, didn't you say you wanted to borrow my hat? He had a Milwaukee Bucks hat that was super tough. And I was like, well, I changed my mind. I don't want nothing to happen to it. And he was like, happen to it? What you mean happen to it? And I was like, well, I wanted to get robbed or damaged. And he's like, listen, put on that hat, and if something happened to it, you talk to me. Now, that's a big brother's way. If you don't have siblings, that's a big brother's way of saying, like, you're good, wear the hat, just take care of it. So boom, I was off to go meet my man Brian B, go get movies and pizza and snacks. We got the movie, then we go into the bodega to go get some snacks. But something happened. This is where the story twists. The dude, the owner of the store, was holding the door looking like he just seen a ghost. And he's holding the door closed, and we on some, yo, we just trying to get in to get some snacks. But then we didn't look behind us. When we looked behind us, there was a city bus, and the city bus just passed us, and it had 3 badass kids hanging off the back of the bus. I'm not talking about inside the bus. I'm talking about literally outside of the bus. These dudes is hanging, holding the vent, playing with their lives, laughing, and they jumped off the bus. One of them went one way, and the other 2 came straight to me and my man Brian B. My heart is throbbing, because I'm like, oh man, it's about to go down. And then I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, time out. It's 2 on 2, because one of them left. But then I look for Brian, and Brian was like 2 blocks. All I seen was the bottom of the sneakers and the back of his head. So I'm on some, god damn. Dude was like, yo, I said, let me see the hat. And I'm like, you know, back in the days when you was kind of scared, you just took the hat off your head and you showed him, because you know if you gave it to him, you'd never see the hat again. So I'm like, here you go, you see it? And then dude's like, yo, I said, let me hold it. And then I thought about my brother. If you don't bring that hat back, you have to deal with me. My brother, like I said, DMX crazy. I'm not dealing with that at home. So dude snatches the hat from me. Without thinking, I snatched it back, and he clutches up and he's about to punch me in the face. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. And this other man is getting close, so I'm about to get jumped for the first time. Fortunately for me, the third person that walked away initially walks down the block with a cool demeanor. And he's like, yo, what you doing? He's like, that's Tito's little brother. He recognized I've looked so much like my brother, he recognized the face. He's like, yo, leave that little nigga alone, he good. And the dude was like, yo, I was just playing with him. They all walked off into the night of mischief, and I stood there by myself, locked out of the bodega. Brian left me. My heart is racing, and I just was the longest time back to the building. I don't even think I put the hat back on. Matter of fact, Brian probably still running. Yo, this is like reason number 935 that I think New York is not a real place. I remember back in the days, we just finished checking my aunt, and me and my brother was walking up Flatbush Avenue, having a beautiful day. We seen this dude popped out on us, just like every other street in New York any other time. And my man was like, yo, my man, I just finished robbing the store, and I got this vacuum cleaner, son. I need to get rid of it. So, of course, you know, the first instinct, you're like, man, get out of here. You good, bro. And then he turned into like the greatest salesman. He was like, listen, I normally will keep it for myself, but really and truly, I gotta get out of town quick. So I need to let this go. Look, let me show you before you walked away. My man opened up the box. He had plastic all over it, ties on it. The joint smelled new. He was like, yo, son, it's new. Ain't nothing here. Hold on. He took a box cutter. He cut the plastic off. And it was a brand new vacuum cleaner, shining like a diamond. So he was like, yo, son, matter of fact, I'm so desperate to get this off. Yo, give me whatever you got, and I'm good. I'm gonna roll with it. And my brother was like, yo, he looked at me, and I looked at him like, yo, this joint look brand new. So we was like, yo, all we got is $40. He was like, 40? Word, that's a deal. Y'all just beat me over the head, but y'all got me. So we was like, yeah, we got him. So we put it back in the box, put all the plastic, everything, and we went to my grandmother's house. When we get all the way to her apartment, we open up the door, and my brother was also surprised. And she was like, oh, what y'all got me? And he was like, we got you a new vacuum cleaner. You could throw the old one that you have for all them years away. And she was like, oh, thank you, Poppy. Let me see how it works. So my brother was proud as a peacock. My man plugged it in her beautiful living room that she cleans like 20 times a day. And son, as soon as he pressed the on button, all you heard was boom! Mad roaches started coming out from every part of this vacuum cleaner. The handle, the bottom of it, it was like they had just was in a Trojan horse and they was just running. Yo, we had stomping parties. We was trying to get all of these roaches out. We threw the joint in the hallway. My grandmother looked at us like, yo, what is wrong with y'all? Yo, son, me and my brother stormed back down, and that dude was never to be found again. That dude is probably somewhere to this day beating somebody over the head over a vacuum cleaner.
Yo, I don't know about you. One of the first things that I do when I get up in the morning is I check my phone. Within the first few minutes of the day, I can tell you everything that's happening on God's green earth, from sports to pop culture to religion. I got you. But back in the days, it wasn't like that. Back in the days, we had what we call the newspaper. The newspaper was dope because the adults will grab all of the headline news from the beginning. Me and my brothers will go straight to the back and we grab all of the sports stuff. And if you got lucky, your favorite athlete could be on the picture and we could cut it out. Now you got a poster. My sister will grab all the crosswords and all the shopping and all the comics. So really and truly, we was straight. Now, my mother didn't make a lot of money back in the days, but what she did do was she ordered a subscription to the New York Daily News one year. Now, that was good because every morning when we woke up, we opened the apartment door and bam, there you had it. A newspaper. So a couple days passed after our subscription started and we noticed, yo, son, the newspaper not there. So we called Ma like, yo, Ma, you took the newspaper? And she was like, nah. The next morning she opened the door and was like, yo, did one of y'all take the paper? And we like, nah. So my mother was like, huh. So she called the newspaper man and dude was on some, ma'am, I don't know what to tell you. We've ordered the newspaper and sent it to your apartment all these days. Somebody might be stealing them. Oh, damn. Why are they trying to stick us for our paper? Yo, but remember like I told you in the previous stories, my mother's from Brooklyn and Panama. She kind of different. That's the recipe for destruction. So what happened was my mother got up old dark 30 on some military business. She stood out the door and waited for the newspaper man. The newspaper man was on time. He delivered the paper and my mother was also, I got a plan. So what she did was she took the newspaper, put it back in the front door, but connected a string to the newspaper, trailed it under our apartment front door on some Claymore landmine business, and she sat on the other side of the door with the string in her hand, waiting patiently like a monk for hours. The hours passed, nobody came. We like, yo, Ma, let it go. She was like, no, they're gonna come, watch. And what happens? The freaking string starts pulling like she caught a marlin or something. My mother got up, opened all the locks, opened the door, and she looked, and there was a neighbor from upstairs. My man had the deer in the headlights look, and he took flight. My mother chased him. He dropping papers down the front stairs, and he finally got out the building and lost Moms. But Moms already knew who it was, and it was a wrap. Yo, son, it was Mr. Pierre from the 6th floor. So my moms went upstairs to their door, knocked. The lady answered because she was a stay-at-home wife like my mother was. So she was like, my mother's like, hey, look, you're a very sweet lady, but I'm gonna keep it real honest. Your husband's been stealing our newspapers for the last few days. And the lady was like, Pierre? She was like, yeah, Pierre. So it stops today. I don't know what needs to happen, but it stops today. The lady was like, I'm so very sorry. It will never happen again. So what they did was they created the Avengers Front, Haiti and Panama, all one team. Mr. Pierre later on got off of work, ain't think nothing of it. He had a whole full day. And my man was coming in the building, but then he looked like he seen the devil himself. He seen his wife and my mom's unified on some Captain America Hawkeye business. Oh my God, I know what he must have been thinking. Mrs. Pierre grabbed him and sunned him. Apologize to the lady. And he apologized. It was all good. The next morning, our newspaper was right there. Everybody grabbed their section and it was rated AG until we ran out of money to keep getting a newspaper. Yo, in 2004, the Air Force gave me orders to go live in South Korea for 1 year. And I was already excited, but what made me more excited is I had two of my homies that was coming with me. So we get to Korea and we start tearing up all the food, all of the bulgogi, yaki mandu, the kimchis, all of that. Spicy, no spicy, all of that. We out there eating, but you know what they say, too much of one thing is good for nothing. So after a while, we started getting bored and we started missing our own Caribbean. See, my man Mike was from Jamaica. Obviously, I'm from Panama, but we all was from New York. So we was missing our home food. And we knew we had 6 more months to do out there. So we'd be in the dorm rooms on, yo, son, you remember oxtails? Word! Ooh, nah. You remember jerk chicken? Oh! Yo, son, you remember plantains? Ah! So we'll be there just daydreaming about food. So he was like, yo, let's go tomorrow to the commissary, pick up some stuff, and then you could do the white rice, and I'm gonna do the curry chicken. And I was like, yo, son, I think you got something on you there. Let's go. We got all the ingredients. We went to the kitchen area that next day. And I ain't gonna front. My man chefed it up a little bit. He threw the seasonings in there. He threw a little potato. He chopped the potato. I said, okay, you throwing a potato in there? All right, bet. Like my man knew what he was doing. I made the white rice and we began to feast. I don't know if it was because of long time or what, but that food was busting. Started punching him in his chest. Yo, son, you nice with it, boy. You opening a restaurant. Yo, son, you brought me back to Flatbush, bro. So we man hype and we take that on. Little couple weeks after, we met some more Caribbean people that were stationed in Korea with us. And one of the dudes' name was David. So David was like, yo, you remember beef patty and cocoa bread? And we like, yo, David, my man Mike cook a curry chicken. And David would screw up his face and was like, Mike, you know if he cook curry chicken? And Mike was like, yeah, son, I cooked it the other day. She was bomb. And he was like, you don't know if he cook curry chicken. You know he do. You know how the Caribbean people, they have to suck their teeth. So Mike was like, yo, son, don't try to play me. I cook curry chicken. And he was like, oh, you really think? Okay, let's have a cook-off. We're going to invite the whole dormitory and we're going to go and we're going to have a Caribbean curry chicken cook-off. I was like, bet. I just get a chance to eat some more food from the crib. I was so tired of Yaki Mandu. So the day comes. It was like a Western showdown. My man Mike cut the potatoes like he did the first day. He put the seasonings in the joint. So I'm hype. I'm like, yeah, kid, let's go. It's us against them. And David was just sitting there laughing like, I got you. So Mike puts the stuff in the oven. We clear up the make table. We like, yo, it's all yours. David, all of a sudden, he opens up a bag and he had a little thing, it looked like a little cologne bottle. I'm like, yo, what's that? He was like, yo, this is curry from Jamaica. And we was like, what? In a bottle? He was like, yeah, move. So all of a sudden, my man started seasoning the chickens with all kind of different ingredients. I was like, how you get that in Korea? Then all of a sudden, he started searing the chicken before you even put it in the oven. I'm also, yo, you put sugar in that chicken? He's like, yo, relax. I have this. So after a while, we just standing there in awe. Yo, not even 15 seconds after that thing was in the oven, it smells like freaking Montego Bay up in the dorm. It smelled like Flatbush Avenue. It smelled like Church Avenue. I'm on some, yo! David goes on to cook his chicken, and it's the most beautiful emerald green curry chicken with nice sear marks on it. We go, and we put the chickens next to each other, and the whole dorm is there, and I tasted each chicken. I ain't gonna front. Mike's tastes like trash. David chicken was busting. Everybody was on, like, yo, David, you had no more pieces? And my man Mike was like, yo, y'all ain't shit. All of y'all are traitors. I was like, my bad, son. But you know, we still boys. He was like, yo, man, beat it. Get out of here. My man walked on with mad leftovers while David just had bones in his plate. Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. I love me Chinese food, but I just don't go to any other Chinese food spot. The Chinese food spots I gotta go to is the hood restaurants. You know what I'm talking about? The one that kind of look like this picture. The one that got the father, he frying the rice and he don't even got no uniform. He just wearing sports gear. The mother in the back behind the counter. But you know how I know it's official? When you got the little kid in the corner doing mad homework. That's how you know the food is good. I remember one time I had rice, but I ain't had no chicken. So I went down to the Chinese spot and, I walked in the door on some bling bling. Looked at the lady, I was gonna say, hey, how you doing? She was on some, what do you need type shit. And I was on some, could I get an order of chicken wings? And she was like, 4 or 5. And I was like, shit, I'll take 4. I didn't see it on the menu, but I'll take 4. She was like, 4 or 5? And I was like, oh, shit, well, I'll take 5. Yeah, 5? She looks at me again and she's like, 4 or 5? And I was on some, damn, okay, shit. I don't see none of these 4 or 5s on the menu. Like, golly. So I was on some, it don't matter, just give me whatever. And then she looked at me like pissed and she was on some, $4.05. Oh, 4 or 5, gotcha. I probably aged that woman like 20 years. I'm sorry. Yo, back in 2001, I made a decision to move to Boston to live with my brother. My brother was nice enough to give me a nice little side job to kind of put some gas in my car, a little money in my pocket. And I was a chocolatier at Godiva. I mean, I wasn't making bank, but, it was enough to hold me down because I didn't know anybody other than him and he worked all the time. I basically was at the crib all day. And back in the days, there was 2 websites. There was one called Black Planet and another one called Mi Gente. Now, these joints right here was like it. It was MySpace before MySpace. You would just meet up with people and go in different chat rooms and talk all day. And then you kind of got your little crew. There was a little shorty in the crew that we had, and I never seen her because you had to click on their profile and it was just a lot harder than it is today. So one day she hit me up and was like, yo, you in Boston? I live in Boston. And I was on some, oh, word? She must be ugly if she's this nice to me and this trying to compliment me. So I go and click on her page just to kind of confirm what I thought. But yo, shorty was little Latina joint. So I was on some, So she was like, we should get together and go do dinner. And I was hoping that she didn't say this weekend because I was really tight on money. She was like, let's go this weekend. And I was like, God damn. Can't say no. So I cleaned up my 1995 Geo Metro, got that joint shining, got the chrome rims shining. All 3 cylinders was on fire. And then I got the secret weapon. I got that GTD R&B, baby. If you know, you know. I end up going to her crib. I printed out my MapQuest directions. And as I'm driving, I'm noticing that the neighborhood is looking nicer and nicer and nicer. Son, I get to the block. It looked like the Cosby Show block. I'm on some, Dr. Huxtable about to walk out? So I pull up to her crib. And I'm walking up these big old townhome stairs. And I click the doorbell. I ain't gonna hold you. The doorbell ain't go bing bong. The doorbell was on some money. So she opens the door and she wasn't lying. It was on some, She was like, hey, how's it going? And I was like, hey, how you doing? So I was like, you ready to go eat? I'm here thinking we gonna go to Sizzlers, TGI Fridays, something cheap. And Shorty was like, I got a place that I think that you'll really like. But do you mind if I bring my niece with us? And I was like, your niece? Then all of a sudden, this little big head 10-year-old girl comes out. Hey, how's it going? I can't wait to go eat. And I'm like, are you serious? I had the GTD mix ready, all of that. Let's go. I can't even play my mix now. She looked at my car and was like, do you mind if I drive? And I was on some, come on, yo. Are you serious right now? I'm thinking she's gonna have a regular kind of car. She's on some, she hits the alarm and it's a brand new, off the lot, shiny Mercedes Benz. I'm awesome. God, this is not gonna end right. I got $47 in my pocket. This is not gonna end right. So we get in her car and I'm tight because I wanted to play the GTD mix. I wanted to be the guy in the car, but now I'm in the passenger seat looking like a punk. This little girl talking my ears off in the back seat. I don't know what none of the knobs or handles to adjust my seat, so I'm just tight. We get to this place in the middle of nowhere. Now, this place don't even got a name on it. It got like a dinosaur fossil logo on it. And I'm like, what place is this? But every car in the parking lot looked like her car. So I'm on some, are you serious? $47 is what I had. So we walk in the lobby and everybody looked like this the Oscars or something. There's a dude with a grand piano sitting in the lobby and I'm looking at him. My man looked at me. He's on some skies all blue, sunrise too. I'm on some, I know this $47 about to burn up. So we sit down at the table and what Shorty ordered? Hey, can I get the seafood medley? And I'm on some, damn, seafood medley, that shit is expensive. So I'm on some, if the little kid gets like chicken nuggies or something like that, I could probably get an appetizer and I could leave here because I was hungrier than a. So what we do, the little girl orders, hey, how's it going? My dad brings me here all the time. Can I get the surf and turf with pumpernickel bread? What the is pumpernickel bread? I've never heard of this in my 21 years of living. I heard of the sourdough bread and raisin bread. I ain't never heard no pumpernickel bread. Son, I looked at the price. Oh my God. Sir, what would you be having? Water. I had to order the water. I went to the bathroom and I'm looking through my wallet and I'm doing math like a mathematician. I'm like those little hobbits from Harry Potter down and doing the bank stuff. So I'm looking at my money and I'm like, I may have just enough for the city. We go back out there and they tearing their food up like this Thanksgiving. While I'm drinking a cold ass glass of water, mad as I wanted to kick that little girl through to next week. After that, I was so mad, so hungry and hangry. I just drove their asses home and I didn't even bother calling her back. I knew when I was out of class. I didn't even get the chance to play the GTD neither. my little high school crew, they all went to universities and colleges. I was the only dumbass that didn't. So I spent a lot of time going to check them, to go check the frat parties and live campus life vicariously through them. The one female of our crew though, she went to school in Nova Southeastern University down in South Florida. How fly is that? I used to always go check her. Sometimes we just go to Miami and spend a day or two and then come back to Nova. This one weekend in particular, I drove down there in my Geo Metro and I met with my man Hassan, which was her cousin. So Hassan is like, yo, son, let's hit South Beach. I'm like, let's do it. But first I need a cut. He was like, son, I need a cut too. He was just from New York as me and he just finished coming down to visit. So we go down to the little Spanish hood and I'm like, the Spanish people gonna get us right, son. Let's just walk up in this barbershop. So we step up in the barbershop on some bling bling. And the guy was like, you need a haircut? And I'm like, yeah, you go first, Hassan. You know, that's an old school move just in case he do bad on Hassan. I know where not to go. So Hassan sits down and he's like, yo, you know, just give me a low cut. Don't touch none of the facial hair. I'm trying to grow it out. He's like, okay, no problem. So he starts cutting. And if you go to any minority barbershop, you already know they're going to be doing everything but cutting your hair and paying attention. At the end, all I heard was, yo! I look, yo, son, my man chopped all Hassan goatee all the way gone. My man had the 1930s freaking pencil mustache. I lost it. He was like, yo, son, I told you. Yo, he was tight, son. He paid the dude and walked away. I had tears in my eyes. So I'm sitting down. I'm on some, yo, son, do not touch my goatee. I just started growing it and it's just starting to connect a little bit. He's like, okay, that's my bad. I won't cut your goatee. So, of course, he starts doing the thing again. He's cutting their hair and he starts talking to the people in the barbershop and all of that. And then he looks at me and was like, no goatee. I was like, no goatee. He's like, okay, you want your eyebrows? And I was like, eyebrows? Nah, I guess a lot of Hispanics down in South Florida was getting their eyebrows shaped, but I'm good. My eyebrows are thick and flat and just leave them like that. So he starts doing my shape up and all of a sudden I start feeling that razor on my eyebrows. Yo, son, I can't move my eyebrows or he gonna chop them off. I'm gonna look like I got alopecia, son. So I'm laying there and when he finished, son, and I looked in the mirror, oh my goodness, bro. My man had me looking like fucking Aladdin. I was on some whole new world. Oh my God, I was so tight, son. I looked at Hassan and he's dead laughing with his little ass mustache. And I'm over there with these fucking curvy ass eyebrows. Yo, we was both tight. We both was walking around Miami looking like two dumbasses that entire time. And that was the last time I ever went to a barbershop that I didn't trust. Damn. Growing up in the 90s and I used to look at TV and they always had that one character that was like ridiculously dumb, like Waldo Faldo or Screech or Cole from Martin. And I never thought those people existed until I met one. Well, back in the 90s, I used to work at a fast food restaurant called P.E. Quick's. Pretty damn quick. And boy, your boy was pretty damn quick. I could make a burger in like under 5 seconds. I could run the grill, the fries. I was the man. Me and my best friend at the time, we was like Michael and Scotty. There was nothing that we could do. The place was stationed between 2 military bases, so we were always busy. So one day I came in and everybody called out except for the new hire. Her name was Z. I'm just gonna keep it as Z because I don't want to get sued. Z was dumb as a bag of rocks. I ain't even gonna front. But, you know, a lot of people liked how she looked, so they always gave her a pass, and she was always, you know, kind of covered by the people that actually did know their job. So one day she comes in and I'm like, yo, we're about to hit rush hour. You just take the orders. I got the rest. I'm gonna drop fries, make burgers, all of that. All you gotta do is say, welcome to P.D. Quick's. How can I help you? So, of course, we start working and I'm started noticing she's having a little bit more difficulty hearing people and responding to people. So not only is it starting to get hot in the kitchen, literally, I'm starting to get hot listening to her take bad orders. Bad order after bad order. I'm like, Z, you gotta listen. They just said they wanted a number 2 with no onions. Z, you gotta listen. They wanted a double cheeseburger, not a single cheeseburger. And finally, at the busiest time, when all the horns is honking, people coming up to the window, I'm dropping fries, I'm dropping burgers. Somebody says, can I get a number 2 with just lettuce and tomato? And she looked, and I looked at her, and she looked at me with those dumb eyes, and she looks back into the microphone and says, Okay, you wanted a number 2 with 11 tomatoes? Jesus! Oh my God! I snapped. I blew up. I put 11 slices of tomatoes in between 2 bread, and I was like, see, who wants to eat this? Nobody. I'm breathing hard. I'm looking at her, and she's gonna say, so they don't want that? I think I quit the next day.